review will take a look at the 1940s era UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico. And this is the most famous of all UFO events. And here's some eyewitness testimony who are actually at the scene, at least alleged to be. And let me get this on the screen here real quick. One moment, please.
1947, Roswell was a small, sleepy town surrounded by ranches and desert. It was also home to the 509th Bomb Squadron, which was the most elite military group in the world. They had just dropped 2 bombs on Japan and tested a couple more in the Pacific. America had won the war, and just when it seemed like life was getting back to normal, a strange thing happened. Something large and silver hurtled out of the sky and plowed into the desert with a bang. A local rancher found the pieces of whatever it was, and reported it to the local airbase. The government took immediate interest, and for the first and only time in US history, issued a press release stating the crash of a flying disc. Naturally, news this big made headlines across the country.
Has been found the biggest, most important story of the year, flying saucer.
But one day later, the initial press release was retracted, and a new one issued with a more down-to-earth explanation. And those 2 press releases are where the story gets so much of its juice. One day, it's War of the Worlds, and the next day, it's a weather balloon. So, the townspeople of Roswell went back to their farming, and life went on. But of course, that was not the end of the story, and some people could not leave it alone. Never have heard of Roswell, nor would it have appeared on our TV screens for that matter, if it wasn't for the chance meeting in 1978 of 2 men, Jesse Marcel, a retired military officer, and Stanton Friedman. By day, a mild-mannered physicist, but by night, the world's most famous ufologist.
I'm convinced after 30 years of investigation that the government recovered a crashed flying saucer and alien bodies here in New Mexico. It's one of the biggest stories of the millennium.
Hold on, that's quite a statement. We're going to need a little more information. Let's just back up for a second. In 1947, Jesse Marcel was the intelligence officer at the Roswell Air Base. And when news of the flying disc hit town, it was Marcel's job to investigate. Before he died, he told Friedman his story. The seed was planted, and the Roswell conspiracy was born.
I first talked to Jesse in '78. This is before any books were out. It was before there was a big public noise of any kind. The people in ufology didn't know about Roswell. It was de nouveau. I mean, it was there, but nobody knew about it.
On one piece of metal, what looked like metal anyway. It was not flexible, but it was as thin as a fall of a pack of cigarettes. I tried to make a dent in this metal. He says, you can't bend it. You can't make a mark on it. He says, I took a sledgehammer and whammed it. I put it on the ground and whammed it. The sledgehammer bounced off of it. It was definitely not a weather balloon. And it was an aircraft. So what it could have been, I wouldn't know.
There was no reason for anybody to lie under those circumstances. Forgetting about the fact, if you're suggesting the intelligence officer for the most elite military group in the world is going to make up a crazy story like this, it doesn't make any sense.
Friedman was hooked, and he started digging around Roswell to see if anyone else had a story to tell. Many of the witnesses he first talked to have since died. Luckily, these interviews were recorded long before the hype.
I don't know what it was. It was something like balsa wood, but it wouldn't burn, and I couldn't cut it with my knife.
There's a little piece of material, and you could crumple it up, let it out, and it would come out flat. And you could not crease it.
Something strange happened in Roswell. That much we do know. We also know that none of us would ever have heard of it if Stanton Friedman hadn't met Jesse Marcel. Marcel told Friedman about a crashed saucer in Roswell. Friedman started developing a theory.
At the end of World War II, there were 3 signs to any visiting smart alien that soon these idiot Earthlings, this primitive society whose major activity was obviously tribal warfare, would be bothering them. The 3 signs were nuclear weapons, V-2 rockets, and powerful radar. Isn't it amazing that the only place on the entire planet in July 1947 where you could study all 3 of these technologies was southeastern New Mexico?
Somewhere along the way, Friedman developed the ability to know what aliens are thinking. But if there was a flying saucer at Roswell, it didn't land, it crashed. For all we know, it could have been on its way to, say, Mercury. Wherever it was headed, it didn't quite make it, so we are left with a mystery. There's only one person still alive who claims to have actually had his hands on a piece of the crashed saucer. And he's not your average conspiracy theorist. He's a flight surgeon with the US military.
That July night in Roswell, one I'll never forget because of the uniqueness of it, marked a dividing point in my life before the event and after the event. I was sound asleep. It was, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And my dad came into the bedroom and he woke me up and says, "Come here, Jesse, I got something I want you to see." He was very excited, and my dad wasn't given to excitement, so this is kind of unusual for him. So I knew that, whatever it was must be pretty important. He went over, got my mother, and got her up. And he had pre-positioned some debris on the floor of the kitchen. Then he said, "This is flying saucer material." Then there were some, looked like I-beam fragments. And on the inner surface there was, I thought, hieroglyphic writing. I said, "What is this?"
Marcel and his father had this piece of the debris recreated from memory so that they could show the world what they saw that night.
The meaning of these symbols escapes my feeble mind there. Maybe it says, "Do not flush in zero gravity," or something like that. And we looked at this for 10 or 15 minutes, and he's telling me, "Remember this as something that you will remember the rest of your life."
And that's some testimony of by Jesse Marcel Jr. has about the craft, about the parts of the craft he came into contact with. And this UFO crash in Roswell has made worldwide attention. And even today, despite the time frame, tourists still flock to the location to see the UFO museum there, as well as other tourist attractions that pertain to the UFO crash from the 1940s era. It's quite a story. And that'll do it. Let me get a final screen on here. One moment, please.
But it's as thin as a...
And let me get a file. And let me get a one moment to get the final screen on there.